Well, St. Cloud police are trying to find the gunman who shot a 9-year-old boy last night outside of his apartment building. That boy is expected to survive. Police say he was shot around 8:20 last night while carrying in items from a vehicle. This happened on 16th Street Southeast. Witnesses said they heard just one gunshot. No other information has been released yet. Joining us to talk about the election, which is oh so close, Hamline University professor David Schultz. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, let me ask you, the polls, they're coming at us, every single day. What do you make of the polls that do show this national lead for Joe Biden, but in these key states, it's much closer, and we all saw what happened last time?
Well, I'm not surprised in terms of the swing states. Now, we know in terms of the national popular vote and national polls, which remember don't matter because we don't elect a president on the national popular vote, they have remained roughly consistent for 4 to 5 months with Biden at about a 7 or 8 point lead. But it's in those critical swing states, the Pennsylvanias, Michigans, Wisconsins, those are and Floridas, that it's always been exceedingly close. And again, as voters are making up their minds, it's getting tighter and tighter at this point. But there are some things that are important to understand. That unlike 4 years ago, where we still had double-digit undecided, there's only about 4% undecided, and a lot of people have cast their ballots already. So it's going to be a little bit harder for the president to make up ground in those swing states this time as opposed to 4 years ago.
And that is such an important point that so many people have already voted. An estimated a third of Minnesotans have already voted. A third of people across the U.S. have voted. The president, though, again yesterday when he voted in person, stressed how secure the vote was to vote in person. And we're seeing that Republicans have not voted early. Is this going to come back to haunt Republicans, or will they all just get to the polls on Election Day and right before?
Well, I think Trump and Republicans are counting on that on Election Day they're going to come out in record numbers. The problem is, though, of course, is that we're looking at in 38 or 39 states across the United States, the coronavirus is reporting incidences at record levels. And one has to wonder, we don't know, is the coronavirus going to discourage voters on Election Day? And that, I think, becomes a problem for Donald Trump because a lot of his base also is in a very vulnerable population. So there's a lot of gambling being taken place here. And I know many Republicans have criticized the president for attacking vote by mail because they really want to take advantage of it.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I've read about is that there are some analysts who believe that pollsters may be consciously underestimating the count for Joe Biden because they don't want to repeat what happened in 2016. In other words, that they don't want to underestimate actually President Trump because he tends to do well with people who don't show up in polling. Is it possible that Joe Biden could have a much bigger lead?
It's certainly possible. Now, we also know that in some of the critical swing states, Republicans have done a better job registering new voters than Democrats are. But there's no question that in this election cycle, many of the pollsters are oversampling white males without college degrees, the group that came out as a strong supporter of Donald Trump. And so it is entirely possible that given this oversampling, Biden's lead, especially again in the critical swing states, may be underestimated and he may be doing better. Again, I want to come back and say that 4 years ago, contrary to what most people think, the pollsters did actually just about nail it on the head in terms of their predictions.
Well, in the popular vote, because yes, Hillary Clinton won by 3 million. They should have looked more, everybody should have looked more at the individual states, which is what you're talking about. Let me ask you about the U.S. Senate race, because we've got 2 polls now that show this race appears to be tightening between Jason Lewis and Senator Tina Smith. Do you buy that?
Well, there may be a little bit of tightening, but at least one of the polls was really flawed. One of the polls that came out listed that in the state of Minnesota, more people identify as Republican and Democrat, and we've never had a poll supporting that before. And so I look at that. I also look at the fact that poll had 14%, I think it was something like that, 12% undecided. and had a margin of error of plus or minus 5%. There's a lot of questions about the accuracy of that poll and how good it was. And I just mention that because when a lot of people complain and say, well, the polls are all wrong, sometimes polls are just bad polls. And that's one that I think is bad. Having said that, I'm still suspecting that the Tina Smith race is probably, in Jason Lewis, is probably somewhere in the area of about maybe 4 or 5 points for a Tina Smith lead. But it doesn't matter because a tight poll is good for the two candidates because what? It motivates their bases to turn out to vote.
All right. Well, we will obviously be watching these final days. Thank you so much, Professor David Schultz.
My pleasure. Thank you.